So we ran really well in PokerBlog 1 and 2. Let's hope we can keep the good run going for PokerBlog 3. So we're 5 minutes in. On the second hand, I am dealt pocket aces. I would prefer to have some time to settle into the game, gain some info on the players at the table, build my image, but I can't really complain. The player to my right limps to me. I am in the hijack. I raise it up to £15. Cutoff and button both call, and the player who limped initially calls as well. So we are going 4 ways to the flop, which comes 8-7-7 with 2 diamonds. The board is draw heavy. I think I have to bet for some protection and a bit of value. I bet 25, which is just under half pot. However, everyone calls, so now the pot is up 160. The turn is a horrible one for me. It is a 9 of clubs. Now Jack 10 is the nuts. I'm check 2. I should probably do the same if I want to be a profitable poker player, but I decided to bet £50 to see where I'm at. The cutoff tells me exactly where I'm at when she raises to 175. The other 2 quickly get out of the way and fold. It's back round to me. Pretty easy decision here if I was thinking straight. But today I wasn't. I decided to call. The river is now a jack of hearts. It doesn't complete the flush, so maybe I have a chance. I am the effective stack with 175 left. It is about a third pot bet if I put it in the middle. I think she is rarely ever bluffing a worse hand. I increase my donation by my remaining 175. She doesn't take long to call. She shows Jack 10 of diamonds, and that ends up being the end for my session. I have a rule to not buy in more than once, especially if I am tilted due to my own bad play. Quickest session I've ever had, but dealt aces in the second hand and I'm already out. I told you I'd show you the good, bad and ugly of this journey, playing on the weekends, working on the weekdays, study on the weekdays, a bit of online play on the weekdays, and see how it can go with the reality. That's the purpose of this channel. She clearly had something very strong. I wasn't thinking clearly. I couldn't let go of those beauties, the aces. We'll learn from this one and I'll see you back tomorrow. What's up guys, hope you're all doing well. It's the following morning to last night's brutal session, which was ultimately down to my bad play. Any type of loss you can learn from and get better and improve, and that's exactly what we're going to aim to do today. 30 minutes into session 2, we pick up the ladies. It folds to me in early position. I have a tight image as players were folding to my raises, so this time I decide to switch it up and limp and trap. But it doesn't go as planned when we go 7 ways to a flop. The flop comes 6-4-8 with 2 spades. The blinds check to me. On a board like this, in a 7-way limped pot, someone could easily be drawn to the nuts. Nonetheless, I decide to bet £10 for about 3/4 pot to charge any draws or weaker 1-pair hands, and also build a pot. The 2 immediate players to my left make the call, and everyone else folds. So we head 3 ways to a turn card in the form of another 6. I don't think it's a terrible card for us, but I'm now first to act and decide to check to see how the other players will react. The middle position player checks, but the player in position puts out a £25 bet. I now think this player could have something pretty strong because the board hits his range with him limping pre-flop. But I have to call with my queens as there's still room to improve them, and I think the implied odds could be there. Furthermore, he could be just chasing a draw. So I call, and middle position player calls as well. The river is a 3. Now there can't be a flush on board, but we don't improve. As I'm out of position, I just decide to check, hoping both my opponents would check back. Middle position player checks, but late position player bets £60. I now think my queens are beat. I fold. Middle position player calls, and late position player now turns over his cards. He has pocket 4s for a set on the flop and a full house on the turn. I'm glad I did not overplay my queens like I overplayed the aces in session 1. In the next hand, we are dealt pocket 5s in the cutoff. Hijack open raises to £10. We call, small blind calls, big blind calls, 4 ways, Flop comes 3-5-7 with 2 hearts. Boom, we hit our set. Even better when hijack c-bets for £25. I think we're quite ahead here, so I just call. The blinds fold 2 ways to the turn, which is a great card for us. I think it's the 2 of clubs. Villain now bets £50. The only hands we're losing to that are in Villain's range, I think, are Ace-4 of hearts or a set of 7s. That's only 4 combos of hands. Villain has about 125 behind. I put him all in, hoping he would call with an overpair or maybe top pair with a flush draw. But unfortunately, our villain folds. But we drag in our first decent sized pot for the session. Let me know in the comments how you would have played this hand for max value. It folds to me in the low jack. We look down at ace jack off. I bet £10. Hijack calls, everyone else folds, 2 ways. Flop comes ace ace 9 with 2 hearts. I think I'm way ahead here, so I just check. Villain checks back. Turn is the jack of clubs, so we just upgrade to the nuts. But I check again because I'm just too far ahead, hoping Villain might bluff, but he checks. River is the 3 of spades, and I decide I have to get some value. I bet 25, hoping I can get a call from anything. Villain calls and tells me he had king high. I think betting any other street, he would have folded. But let me know what you think. We eventually pick up ace king offsuit and the hijack limps and it then folds to me on the button. I raise to £20. Only the hijack calls, heads up to a board of ace 7 jack with 2 hearts. Villain now leads out for £60. This player has been overbetting quite frequently in the session, so there is a chance that he could be bluffing. However, I think it's more likely he isn't because he knows my range has a lot of aces. So he's probably trying to get value. That being said, Villain only has about £80 behind. I have top pair, top kicker, and I thought to myself, there is also a chance he could have the same hand, so I end up calling. The turn is the 10 of hearts. Straight away, Villain goes all in. I don't think he would be overbetting the flop with hearts. The 10 gives me outs to a straight if I am behind. I tank for a bit, but end up making a reluctant call. Given the fact this player is capable of making wild bluffs as well, I make the call. As soon as I call, Villain shows his hand. He's got ace jack of spades for 2 pair and I'm massively behind. I clearly have a lot to learn in this game. The dealer eventually turns over the river and it is none other than the queen of spades to give us the straight. I suck out, I get super lucky, I can't believe it. I'm not very proud of the way I played it, as I should have folded on the flop, but will gladly take the biggest win of the session so far. In this next hand we have jack 10 of diamonds. It is folded to us in early position. We make a 5x raise to a tenner. One player in position calls, heads up, flop comes 10-6-8 with 2 clubs. We flop top set with a decent kicker. The board is a little wet, so I bet £15 for protection as well as value. He calls, turn is a 4 of diamonds. If we were winning on the flop, I think we are winning now. I bet £25, but he calls. Now I hope the river is not a club. The river is the 5 of clubs. I now decide to check, hoping he checks back. Villain has other plans though when he bets £65. It looks like a flush, it feels like a flush. I decide to fold. He asked me what I had. We both turn over our cards and he shows he bluffed with pocket 9s. Fair play, he played well I thought. In the final hand of Poker Vlog 3, we are matched up with ace 5 of diamonds. It's folded to us in the cutoff. We raise to £10. Small blind 3 bets to £40. I think for a bit. We will be dominated by most other ace-x hands, which he has many of in his range. However, our hand is suited, has straight potential, and he may not have an ace after all. So we call, and our heads up. The flop comes 7-7, ace, with 2 spades. He now c-bets for £55. I now think he either has an ace, and I am dominated, or he has a pocket pair. I call. Turn is the 6 of clubs. He quickly checks now. This turn card doesn't change much and I decided to check back because I felt as though he could have had a higher kicker and I didn't want to bloat the pot. The river is a 4 of hearts. Again, I don't think it changes anything. He checks again. I now contemplate whether to bet, but decide on checking back because I felt like I was only going to get called by an ace with a higher kicker. So I flip over and we win, as he tells me he had pocket jacks. In hindsight, I should have went for thin value on the river. So we just finished the session, both vlog 3, a much better second day.